what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And we are live. Greetings to our loyal WFYL listeners around the world. Welcome back to your Philadelphia live stream, only on the Freedom Station. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again, because you still have the right to hear and the right to be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike G. As always, with me are Philly Chris, Russ the producer, and Liberty Lee. And you're listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters. And you can listen to our program every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So let's be heard. I want to remind our listeners that you can participate in the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas throughout the entire week by visiting MikeGinTheMorning.com. What's it called, Philly Chris?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
How about you, Russ?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
Liberty?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
You can catch all the shenanigans Mike G and Philly Chris are up to throughout the week. Watch our YouTube videos. Check out our social media platforms. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barber, tell your Uncle Jerry, tell anybody who'll listen to check us out at MikeGinTheMorning.com. I also want to remind our listeners about the powerhouse lineup we've got here at the Freedom Station. Kick off your mornings with Scott Adams, bring you the Scott Adams Show weekdays, 9 a.m. to 11. We've got the one, the only, Dan the Man Bongino, bring you the Dan Bongino Show, weekdays at noon. We've got the headliner, intellectual giant Ben Shapiro, bring you the Ben Shapiro Show, weekdays at 3. And finally, a welcomed addition to the Freedom Station family, we've got Michael Knowles, bring you the Michael Knowles Show to close out the day. So don't forget to tune in and show him some love. And with that, you know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hit it, Russ.
You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
So I want to wish a belated happy birthday to the United States of America and to Liberty Lee. Liberty, did you enjoy your birthday weekend?
Thank you. I enjoyed it, except seeing lots of social media posts against July 4th, but that's for later.
It's for later. I think it's for right now.
Could be for now.
I like it now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was just like, it's the first year I'm always super happy about my birthday and sharing it with America. And I didn't realize how much, I don't know what I want to call it, hatred, but hatred for, America that we have right now within our country with these citizens who have, whether they think it or not, freedom. Compare ourselves to Venezuela, to Russia, to things going on in Ukraine even right now, right? What we have, how special we have it here. And I've seen so many posts of just a burning, it wasn't a video of a burning flag, but like a picture of a burnt flag and just like, America, we have no freedom because of the Roe v. Wade or different things are being taken away. Just sad. It's like, what the heck? It just like put, not that it's all about me, but it put a damper on sharing it with America. So it was just,
it would seem to me that if you ask those folks what about our Second Amendment freedoms, they'd be, oh, no, not that kind of freedom. I'm not talking about that kind of freedom. Take all the guns away.
Right. Guns are bad.
Just the first time I noticed it everywhere I looked. And, of course, I'm looking in the wrong places. I'm looking on social media. but
right.
But I know some of the people on social media. I've seen them face to face. They work in different stores around me. And I know these people. And it's just really sad, to see people thinking this way.
Do you think that there's a disproportionate amount of leftists who are extremely vocal on social media or in the population in general? Because if you look at social media, my experience is that you would think that 99.9% of the country is on the left and agree with the leftist policies, whereas I'm much more likely to have conversations with a person face to face who's going to have a different set of values. Do you think there's a disproportionate amount of leftists who are being vocal on social media?
I think so, vocal wise. However, just like we said during the elections, right? Like who had the better platform on social media? It's kind of like a fight for left versus right. Who has the better presence? Because it's getting the word out there more. However, each and every person that I do see and follow, I like to follow real people on there besides food pages. But I know them in person and I know that they're real. And I think that a lot of these people hold these views. They're more likely to vocalize it online, I guess is what you're saying, than to me face to face, right?
Sure, because if you only looked at social media, you'd think there's no way that any Republican would ever win any election at any level. I mean, even dog catcher of your township, because the left to right, the ratio is, wildly disproportionate, I'd say.
I would say so. What about Philly Chris and Russ?
It's certainly not a 50-50 thing on these issues, right? It's not like you scroll through the comments and you see half of them are on the right and half of them are on the left or anywhere near that, right?
Yeah, well, I think they are more vocal, and then also, we've had stuff basically be canceled online and strikes and all that stuff. So I think there's that whole aspect of the social media. Like it's not a fair. The platforms are not really.
Of course,
fair,
never
right?
on YouTube. Not YouTube. We're specifically saying not YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we would never say that.
I would.
And I don't know if you go back to like the riots and the peaceful protests, mostly peaceful protests.
Same thing.
Like, they were huge. There's so many people out, so they seem to be more organized in some ways and more like grassroots effort and a lot of conservatives are just busier, I think, working and doing other productive things than smashing stores and taking things.
In other words, they have a life.
Yeah, something like that, Russ. Exactly. Yeah.
I wasn't going to go there. There were all kinds of jokes about people who are hardworking and have jobs and everything like that. But I wasn't even going to get into that because jokes are not considered jokes anymore by everybody.
Yeah.
Jokes are a myth.
Even that's not funny.
There will be no jokes.
I'm not even joking, man.
More fun. Hey,
no
now.
jokes allowed.
Hey now.
It's no joke.
People on there can't say half the things they would say to somebody in person. But I mean, when you have your birthday, you're just, you're excited and you see things. And I just always love sharing my birthday with America. And just seeing the vitriol towards America is just, it's sad in one way. On the other way, it's like, hey, we all have the right to say this, so that's a good thing, right? We're not like other countries in that way. But something about it is just really lets you down because I'm just like, wow, these are my fellow Americans that are in this country. I don't know.
Tell us about the food channels you like there, Liberty.
Food channels. I was going to get to that in just a bit. I'm very sorry that the leftists burning flags ruined some part of your birthday celebration. I will say that if we're talking about this from a constitutional perspective, this has been litigated, and the Supreme Court has held that is protected speech under the First Amendment, flag burning. What do you folks think about that?
Well, it's a good example of how important the First Amendment is, and to what degree it allows you your freedoms. I mean, I don't agree with burning a flag, but at the same time, if somebody wants to do it and it's the way they're going to express themselves and it's protected, then have at it, I suppose, right? Better than some other things you could be doing.
Just like me.
I mean, I wouldn't do it.
I mean,
I saw people stepping on them, laying the flags on the ground at some of the protests and, stepping on them and flying them upside down and stuff like that. It's definitely disrespectful, but yeah, what do you
Sure, it's incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel sorry for the people who have died for this country and the soldiers who have fought and died for this country in the name of freedom.
Yeah.
It is incredibly disrespectful. But in many instances, you can disagree with what somebody's saying or what they're expressing in that instance, but agree with their right to say it or to express it.
Right.
I think that would probably fall into that category because if the government starts saying you can't criticize us, that's a little bit of a problem, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, I think it's like the perfect show of the state we're in right now, where it's like there's people who will go so out of their way to make sure that American flag is protected and that you fold it nicely and you don't let it touch the floor and you treat it really well. And at these funerals of our, veterans or those who have passed, we just treat it with such respect. And then there's people on the streets who will burn it and step on it. Like Chris said, I don't know what's worse, stepping or burning it. I think they're both bad, but also kneeling during the national anthem and things like that, just breaking our country down piece by piece. I think it's okay. Not it's okay. I'm saying it could, I guess if it's allowed, it's allowed. However, it doesn't mean it's not heartbreaking.
I think it means different things to different people. As far as the people who are burning and stepping on the flag, I can only assume that they went to like Walmart or whatever and purchased it, which makes it then their property to stomp and set on fire in hopefully a legal sense. But as far as you and I are concerned, it means a lot more. It's a symbol of a totally different concept than it is to those people, where it's a symbol of freedom. It's a symbol of people who fought for, our country. And because of that disconnect, I don't think it means the same thing to them. I think they do it a lot of times for attention, because they know that it'll, get on our nerves, and we have to sit there and perhaps even watch as they do things like kneel for the national anthem. It's their right to do so, and they can throw it in our face.
That also brings up a separate matter, though, with the kneeling situation, because with burning the flag, we're talking about where the government can prohibit it, right?
Right.
Because the Bill of Rights protects us from whom?
The government, presumably.
The government, right. And when you're talking about ball players kneeling during the national anthem, there's a separate layer there.
Well, there's an employment layer.
There's an employer, correct. And, the New York Giants are not the government.
Thank God.
And they've become nothing.
Some people might want them to be, though.
They've become nothing over the last few years to a lot of us because of the politicization of sports, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have given up on sports. The Yankees tweeted out something about gun control fairly recently.
Did they?
Oh,
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, but they're from New York, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. There's certainly a different mindset when it comes to firearm ownership, private gun ownership, when you go to places like New York and California. But it just seems that the sports. Do you think they're catering to their target market, though? Is it the target market of the New York Yankees?
That's hard to say. Are they
to come out with a stance that's pro-gun control?
Well, I think it also there is a marketing aspect to it. It could be just, pandering to their audience of, okay, these people are mostly from New York, I would imagine, the New York Yankees, and most.
I wonder if that's true, though, right? You got 300 million people in this country, I think they're the most popular sports franchise in the country, period.
The smartest thing to do would be not alienate any part of your audience and take a neutral stance, saying we have no opinion one way or the other, and we're allowed to do
we're
that.
A baseball team. Maybe we're not even going to talk about this topic altogether, right?
Yeah,
right.
We run around a park. We smack balls with sticks. There's no guns involved. We don't have to we don't have to care.
Maybe we're a little skewed in this sense, and we don't have the typical experience of most people, because I practice Second Amendment law for a living. So my clients are typically people who support our Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of limited to that target market. And we host a conservative talk radio show. So that's typically our market, although seems to be no shortage of people who listen just to
increase their own blood pressure.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no shortage of people who listen to be miserable, apparently.
Wow. I woke up having a great day. I think I'll listen to something I hate.
Do we have any new hate mail, Mike?
Every second of the 3-hour episode, and it was awful.
It was awful. I watched it just to torture myself.
Miserable.
And then I watched it again and again and again. I just had it on repeat.
I can't wait to not listen again next week.
CB says, well, time to burn my Yankee jersey and caps. Shaking
Yeah.
my head.
Okay. But
It
you're
is
seeing
really
you're seeing this,
unfortunate
everywhere.
that they've
Taking over
ventured into the
sports.
political arena, and they've certainly
Good old,
Where they
What's
have
that?
no
I
business.
said, good old American fun. Now they went after that. They've gone after everything.
sure.
I wonder if they're getting pressure from their advertisers or where it's coming from. You know, you see so many of these companies doing it, and really, truly, just like Russ said, Russ made a really good point there. Just stay out of it. Keep neutral.
That's a good
on it.
point. Is like
you
Dick's
know, yeah.
Sporting Goods going to them and saying, hey, we spend this many $1 million every year,
Right.
and we're not going to do it anymore unless we see a statement out of you advocating for gun control.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
for
that's a
all
good
we-
example because Dick's got rid of all their guns, and I used
Sure.
to get a lot of stuff from them, and I go out of my way now not to vote
Yeah.
with my dollars there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just an example. I don't know if Dick's actually sponsors the New York Yankees.
Well-
I couldn't
Right.
tell you who sponsors the New
Yeah,
York
but-
Yankees at this point in time
Right.
because I have not watched a game or an inning or a pitch for that many years.
So we should
since,
find
since
out.
this
so we
all
don't-
started, really. It was sort of roughly during the time of the pandemic has been all this.
I know how much you love
How about
baseball
that?
too, so that's pretty awesome
Yeah.
that you've been able to stay true to that. You
How
know.
about those Phillies, though?
I
any
couldn't
good?
tell you. Couldn't tell you.
I
It's
couldn't
become
tell
so
you either.
politicized.
Aren't they a
I find-
basketball team now?
Mike, you're going to hate me for this, but I find baseball a tad boring.
Mike was a college ball player, and he's a really great pitcher, and that was like his life for a while. So for Mike to boycott, I mean, he's really standing his ground. No pun intended.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something though. As much of my life consisted of baseball for 20 years, living, breathing, sleeping.
Yeah.
Roughly 20 years, if
Mhm.
not a little bit more than that by the time it was all said and done. I could tell you that my favorite sport to watch truly was football.
Oh yeah.
For those 16 plus days a year, made sure that those few hours were blocked off. I think I watched every single quarter of every single Giants game with my dad
hmm
for 15 years in a row or something
cool.
like that. And that was what we looked forward to every year. Were those games, as horrible as the Giants were some years.
Well, you were loyal.
And there were a couple of very good years, those Super Bowls against the Patriots and everything. But
Deflatriots.
that is something that I have legitimately given up because of the politicization of professional sports. So that's that. Speaking of professional sports, Russell, I heard that you had an athletic competition over the holiday. Did you not?
Oh yeah.
I did not.
I thought I
What?
saw you. I thought I saw some footage of you eating hot dogs over in Coney Island.
No. Coney Island's in New York, isn't it?
I knew that. I knew that there was a reason you were going on this new diet where you only eat once a day. I have not eaten in 23 hours. Now I'm going to take down 72 hot dogs.
Yeah. How is the intermittent fasting going?
It's going pretty well.
Oh, yeah?
It's the perfect diet for me. I get to eat whatever I want, but it's only once a day. Maybe not
You're
whatever
still
I
doing
want. Maybe not whatever I want. I doubt I could eat, like 3 cakes, like big stupid cakes. I doubt that would result in maintaining my weight or weight loss. But, I could eat a hoagie sandwich. I could eat a bowl of mac and cheese or whatever, and I get to eat the things I enjoy.
There you go.
It looks like we already got a comment retracted from
Oh no.
CB.
Uh oh.
Already starting with this nonsense.
I noticed that on my.
What was it? Do we have a
hot
way
dog
to
and
lay it
wrestling
back?
is my sport. It looks like
Professional
maybe?
wrestling is my. They took that down,
Or did CB do it? Maybe.
Wait, what?
or did
No,
he take
If it's
that back?
retracted, does that mean the person did it? What happened there, CB?
All I saw
I
on
think-
my end was message retracted. You guys see that too?
I think retracted means they took it. It was the
He
the
took it off, or they
author.
took it off. Why would they take professional wrestling is my sport down?
Yeah, it seems a bit odd. Yeah.
They're
I
like,
don't know.
wrestling's not a sport. Wrestling's fake.
It's all made up. Oh, behave.
This is misinformation.
exactly.
Oh, CB took it down.
Okay.
Why would you take
Okay.
that down?
I
Was
was
it
gonna say
accidental?
retracted and removed are two very different
Don't
things.
be ashamed of being into professional.
He got us all
Yeah.
worried already.
Oh,
He took it.
man.
He took it down. Don't be ashamed of professional wrestling.
At least it wasn't censored. That's good.
You should be ashamed of professional
I
wrestling.
may have already told this story on the air, but I had the opportunity to show my goddaughter some old wrestling matches between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Did I tell this
And
story
you
on
told
the
her
air
you were
already?
Hulk Hogan, right?
I don't think so. I don't recall.
Mhm.
I don't
So-
have much of a memory these days. So.
I have a
Neither do I.
goddaughter and a godson, and they're staying with us for the weekend a couple months ago. And they're 5 and 7 years of age. And I wanted to show my godson, who's 5, some old Hulk Hogan matches. I figured that would be exciting for him. He's about the age where that starts to get interesting. And
Mhm.
I figured back then it was mild enough. You know, when I was a kid in the late 90s, it started to get a little more edgy. So I didn't really want to show him anything from that era. But
Sure.
from the 1980s, it was very family friendly. So I sent a message over to my brother-in-law. I said, hey, do you mind if I show him some old classic Hulk Hogan wrestling matches, or is he too young?
Mm.
He said, no, that's fine. Go ahead. He's good. You can show him. So I said, I got some good news. We're going to watch wrestling.
Cool.
And I've got the Peacock program so we can watch any match ever. So I get fired up and he's excited. And my goddaughter comes over to me and says, Uncle Mike, we can't watch wrestling. I said,
Uh-oh.
why not? And, my dad said no. And I said, oh, sweetie, it's okay. I spoke to Dad. Dad's
'Cause
okay
it's
with it. He
fake.
knows. We're allowed to watch wrestling. She said, Uncle Mike, I really don't think we should watch wrestling. I said, why not, sweetie? She said, well, I'm afraid that he's going to do the moves on me. I said, no. Nobody does the moves on anybody. This is make-believe. This is like watching a TV show. We never do this on each other.
Right.
We're just going to watch this. We're going to have some fun. He says, my Uncle Mike, I don't want to watch the wrestling. Let's not watch wrestling. I said, sweetie, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to, and we're not going to force you to watch it. And it's okay if we like some things that you don't like, and you could like some things that we don't like. That's okay. So I put it on, and within 5 minutes, my godson is on his little tablet playing some video game,
Oh.
not paying
Uh-oh.
attention.
Oh no.
And my goddaughter is curled up next to me, absolutely loving
Loving it.
everything that's going on the wrestling screen.
That's awesome. That's cute.
And
That's
she took a
awesome.
liking to Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah.
And she said, Uncle Mike, look how big that guy is. I said, he's huge. That's Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he is huge.
And she said
Almost as
Is
big
he?
as Russ.
that he's not bigger than Dad, is he? I said, he's way bigger than Dad. She goes, is he even bigger than Uncle Mike? I said, he's way bigger than Uncle Mike. He's as big as the ceiling. She said, no way. Watching
Awesome.
Andre the Giant, and then we're laying there, and she looks up, she turns, she goes, Uncle Mike, I love wrestling.
That's funny.
So I got her an Andre the Giant shirt for her
Oh,
birthday
yeah?
this year.
That's
Nice.
cool. That's cool.
Among other things.
It's funny how you just never know with kids what they're going to be into or not into, you know?
Yes. The next
Yeah.
step is to get to take her to a live event. That would be fantastic.
That'd
Yeah.
be
The
cool.
moral of the story is, CB, you should not be embarrassed to like wrestling because apparently it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yes, you should.
That was a big thing back in the day, too.
You should.
I used to watch it sometimes.
Yeah, that was a long way of saying, CB, don't retract the comment about
Yeah,
professional
right,
wrestling.
right.
What are you
It's
doing?
very embarrassing in capital letters. Like, CB, there's much more things to be embarrassed about.
Oh, he wrote it. He wrote it's embarrassing.
He wrote
Not
up here,
embarrassing.
I don't know what he's talking about. But
If that's embarrassing, that I just made a total fool of myself on the air, right?
Well, we do that all the time, Mike. That's
Yeah.
nothing new for us. You know?
Part of
I
hugging the
should be
third rail.
incredibly ashamed of myself if that's embarrassing.
Go hide in
That's
the
funny.
hole.
Hmm.
Love it.
Rita likes the wrestling story. We'll have to take Rita to a wrestling match too. One of the
Jeez.
fun things we did back in law school, when you don't have the funds to do many other things, they had these. I don't want to call it professional wrestling. It was wrestling, but it was not the level of the WWF or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination. It was just like a local sort of promotion with regular guys who work regular jobs who put on this show every couple of weeks or every month. And it was actually hosted at the sports facility where I gave baseball lessons and coached teams. So it would be after the facility closed on like a Saturday, and I'd have a bunch of guys from law school come over, and we'd all sit in on the show. And it was so much fun because the people in the crowd, the level of intensity that many of them had, you would swear they thought this was very real.
Right. Yeah,
It was a lot of fun. CB said it's called indie wrestling. CB said with those local promotions.
I thought you were going to say they made the lawyers wrestle each other. They're professionals, just not wrestlers.
I think Rita's pulling my leg. She said, I went to one wrestling match. Ric Flair was wrestling. You need to get out of town with that. If you were kidding, that's not funny. If you're telling the truth, you really need to come on the show to tell that story because that is incredible.
Oh my gosh, you have to tell that story, Rita.
She saw Ric Flair,
Do we have that call-in number?
the Nature Boy.
Yeah, the calling number was definitely sent out in the mass message. I'm not sure. Rita, I'm not sure if you're on the mass message. You have to write in your phone number if you're not on it, if you'd like.
Could somebody pop in the
I'll throw it up on
the
the
number
screen.
into the
I'll throw it on the screen. Give me a sec.
Here we go.
Okay.
CB met Ric
484?
Flair at WWF New York.
Thanks,
I'll-
Denise. I just haven't shaved. That's
I'll
pretty
call it
much
out loud real quick. 484-429.
Oh, it just grows in that way naturally.
Yeah, I just haven't really shaved, but she made a comment about the mustache. Although I noticed some guys were growing like the mustache. It's sort of like the 70s are coming back or something. Have you noticed that? A lot of these younger guys have just mustaches.
Yeah, I think that's sort of like an ironic thing they're doing. Don't you think?
I think so.
I don't think they do it and they think, oh, this actually looks good. They do it
No.
thinking my friends are going to think this is funny.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so too. Yeah, because it
My
kind of
friends
looks
are
like
gonna
that.
think this
Yeah.
amusing.
Maybe I should do that just for fun. Yeah.
'Cause
I've
we
never
would do
had
stuff
just
like
a
that
mustache.
all the time back in the day.
Right. Maybe we should do it. We'll grow mustaches.
I did for a couple of days the Hulk Hogan mustache.
Who's doing that?
Hey, we're
don't
back
know who
in
did
the
that,
woods, Mike.
But we're
Can
in
you
the-
guys-
we're-
Can you
we're
guys
once
not do
again
that,
in the
please?
rainforest, sitting
It's
on
kind
some
of cool.
steps.
It's like a very zen
No,
environment.
it's not cool. It's like screwing with the
Please get rid of
video
that.
feed.
Yeah.
And especially because the people who are listening over the airwaves are saying, "What the heck are these guys
What are they
talking about?"
Well, they're just going to
that's
have to tune
why-
into the live stream if they want to know.
That's absolutely right. If
Shame
you're
on you
listening
for
over
not
the
tuning
airwaves-
into the live
Yeah.
stream.
I wonder where that is.
And it is coming up like this on the YouTube live stream right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
How do I do that? How do I get
Hey,
rid
everybody.
of this?
You can see us in the rainforest.
We're in New Hampshire. Live free or die,
I
baby.
don't even know what I'm doing. How do I make this go
is
away?
that a photo of New Hampshire?
It looks like it, but I don't know what it is.
I fixed it back because
I think it's part of Skype or something.
It was me again because I didn't know me changing it changed it for everybody. I was trying to see the call number on the screen and
Oh, okay.
cut it off on it won't go in horizontal mode only. And I pressed it, and the next thing you know, you guys are in that.
It's good that you're in the front though, since it's your show. Like you're in the front. I'm right behind you. I wonder if I
And
could
now
reach.
Russ is toggling through all the backgrounds, and we could be in a balloon pit. Apparently, it looks like.
You're a
Plenty of
balloon
options.
pit, Mike G.
Clutching your head.
Oh my god!
I think we're back to normal now.
Right.
Now we may be back to normal on the feed, but I am still seeing us in the
Oh, no.
rainforest on
Yeah,
my end
me
through my
too,
monitor.
Oy.
And we're definitely not normal, just so everybody
Okay.
knows.
I wonder if there's a way
Mike, if you want to reverse it,
you have to
there-
go through there and
No.
go all the way to the bottom.
up in the top it says together mode. You want to click
Oh, yeah,
that.
that's
It'll
what
have a drop down. Go to grid view.
No, together mode's the one I pressed that put them in the thing.
Yes,
know.
yes, he knows.
You
he
need to
knows.
click it to
All right,
use
I
the drop
fixed it.
down.
I'm back to normal on my
That's
side.
all right. As long as...
Len Larson gave a hey now. Give Len a hey now. Hey now.
Hey now, Len. Hey now. Welcome.
Hey now.
Hey, now.
I hope that Rita will call in with her Ric Flair story. If anybody's got a
Yes.
Ric Flair story, you're welcome to call in, not just Rita.
Call in. Good for people to call in.
So,
I love our call in.
there's a whole lot going on. I've gotten a ton of calls from people who are interested in getting what they call a permit to carry in New Jersey.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
You know, that the Supreme Court has come down. Well, you know, the Attorney General had no choice but to issue a directive stating that they are no longer able to require justifiable need. So you can't, the police can't say, well, you can only get a permit to carry if you show that some stalker's waiting in a tree outside your house with a knife right now.
Right.
Oh, wait, he was there last night? If he's not there anymore, then what are you bothering us for?
Who's no longer in need. Will that affect anything they
Len
do
Larson
in Philly,
must be
Mike?
very happy about this. Len Larson, very happy.
Do you think that'll affect any of the stuff they do in Philly, how the permitting is different in Philly?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because they don't require justifiable need in Philadelphia. What they do is there's under Pennsylvania law one discretionary factor, which is if the issuing authority, which in Philadelphia would be the chief of police through what they call the gun permitting unit. Everywhere else is the sheriff. But if the issuing authority determines that you've got a character and reputation that suggests you likely act in a manner dangerous to public safety, then they can deny you based on that. But they can use just about any fact to claim that you've got the character and reputation flaw.
Right.
So in Philadelphia, they use anything and everything. I've seen everything from unpaid parking tickets being the basis. I've seen, if you've ever had a firearm stolen from you in Philadelphia, that's going to be the basis, automatic. So the worst case that I dealt with was this guy had a gun locked up in a safe in his home, and burglars broke into his house and stole the safe. And the gun was in the safe.
The whole safe. Yeah.
They stole the safe. So he calls the police to report that he's the victim of a crime and they've stolen his safe and there was a gun inside. And so what did they do?
I'm sure they held it against him, you know.
They revoked his license to carry firearms based on the character and reputation clause. So as a practical matter, they've made it very difficult for a lot of people in Philadelphia with these bogus denials.
Right.
But it's still nothing like New Jersey was.
Sure.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen.
Like that smash button.
Smash the like button, everybody.
No, don't smash it. Tap
Don't
it
smash
gently.
it?
Other people might want to use it.
Yeah. Len brings up a good point. He says, concealed carry, woohoo. I'll be able to carry while driving around my house. Everywhere else will be designated gun-free zone. And that's what New York's trying to do. I believe one of the proposals for the designated gun-free zones was in New York was that private businesses are off limits unless they have a specific express guns welcome sign. So, you know, some states give the no gun signs the force of law on private businesses, meaning North Carolina, for example, if you go to a private business and they've got a no gun sign and you walk past that no gun sign, it's a misdemeanor. They've got a specific crime for that. Pennsylvania has no such law, although we've got trespass laws that could lead to a similar result. They ask you to leave and you don't leave. But what New York is trying to do is the exact opposite. Guns are only allowed if they have a guns welcome sign. That'd be very interesting.
Guns welcome.
Guns welcome sign.
I have seen some of those, the ones with the green thing, you know, basically saying people with, you know, carry permits are welcome here. It's just nice to see. I've only ever seen one in Philly, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that business? So we can.
It was actually a Sunoco right on Broad Street. It's still up there. I get gas there partially for that reason. Yeah.
For that reason.
Yes. Yeah.
What's their price?
Rather patronize. Yeah, it's not far from. There's a diner over there, like Broad Street Diner. It's and across the street from the Rite Aid and near the Dunkin' Donuts, right on Broad Street. Shout out to the Sunoco.
I wonder if, based on the opinion that we talked about, the Supreme Court opinion when they addressed the sensitive places that Heller touched on, because they talked about certain restrictions on firearms possession would be constitutional, presumptively, such as, you know, historic prohibitions on felons and mentally insane, I think is the word that they used.
Mm.
And then they talked about sensitive places. The recent case discussed briefly sensitive places, and it seems like they're going more towards the direction of the type of place where the onus is on the entity of the gun-free zone to take on the duty of security.
Mm.
Meaning like a courthouse where they've got metal detectors, they've got armed guards,
Right.
and they're taking measures to protect people going in. But most places that are gun-free zones don't fall into that category, right?
Right.
You're saying like the post office, and Len's saying, what about restaurants?
Mm-hmm.
Stacks Farmstead, give them a hey now.
Hey now, Stacks. Welcome to
Hey
the
now.
show. Hey now.
Hey now,
now.
Stacks.
Nice Stacks.
Nothing
I
like a
had
good
something
hey
I
now.
wanted to mention to Stacks the other
Oh yeah.
The other
What
day
is
I
it?
was thinking, I hope that he pops in because I had something that I wanted to mention, and now I cannot at all remember for the life of me.
It's a
Hopefully
strong
it
name.
comes to me.
Stacks Farmstead.
Stacks Farmstead. Hey now.
Stacks. Hey now, Stacks.
So we've got an interesting guest who's supposed to be joining us within these next couple of weeks. I suppose I can start to discuss it, although we're not going to announce a date and time because that is still being nailed down. I do want to give people as much notice as possible so that way people can tune in. It's something that I'm extremely excited for. One of my favorite bands throughout high school was a band called Mushroom Head, a heavy metal band, and they got extremely popular during that time. And one of their songs was on a soundtrack of a popular movie. I can't recall which movie because I didn't know them because of that. I knew them from their music in general. I've been listening to them for quite some time. Their singer is my favorite singer of all time. And I recently noticed on YouTube that there was a video of him giving his testimony at his church. And apparently he recently became a Christian and started speaking about it in public. And I thought it would be a good idea to reach out, and he has agreed to come on our program. So
Awesome.
Jeffrey Nothing, former lead singer of Mushroom Head, will be joining us for the program. And I'm very much looking forward to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in soon. Mushroom Head.
Jeffrey Nothing.
Jeffrey Nothing coming live on the Mike G in the Morning Show. Well, that's cool, man.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So a whole lot else going on. A lot of people are asking about the permit to carry in New Jersey. I think a lot of things are still up in the air. The number one thing is that there is a training requirement and that you have to provide proof and demonstrate that you can safely and proficiently handle a firearm. It's not quite been nailed down as to what exactly they're going to accept as that proof.
Mm.
And A&J RCP had some recommendations on their website to at least take basic pistol. I know that there are facilities including Elite Tactical Armory
Elite
at
Tactical
elitetacticalarmory.com, PAcommercialarmory.com that are teaching courses. And of course, everybody's got the understanding that we're not certain exactly what is going to be accepted, but we've got a pretty good idea that this kind of thing would be accepted. And so I believe you will be able to do that course with them, and you should check that out. Call them up and get in your training with Elite Tactical Armory so that you can get your New Jersey permit to carry.
There we go.
And Dave's just a fun guy to be around in general.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend time in a room with somebody to get your certification, he's a good guy to do that. He's not going to put you to sleep.
Right. No, that's a good point.
It'd be like watching paint dry. Somebody says IMDb says Scorpion King or XXX for the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. All right. Check it out.
Let's see.
So we'll be able to play some of his music on the air, maybe. I hope.
Well, I don't know what the deal is going to be with the YouTube, right?
Yeah. Although if we have their permission.
Yeah. Well, he's not with the band anymore. I guess we could do
okay.
his. He's got a. One of the major things I do want to talk about is he's got his own solo project now called Jeffrey Nothing.
Oh, cool.
Where He is making the same style of music,
Mhm.
you know, excellent music, but it's all Christian music.
Cool. All right.
As long as we have his permission, then
Oh,
yeah, we
It
can.
was Freddy versus
do as much as
Jason
we want.
soundtrack. Sun Doesn't Rise was the song.
Oh, really?
Freddy versus Jason
Well,
soundtrack.
that's a big movie.
Became pretty popular for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's take a look
Wicked.
at the ANJRCP recommendations just so we could let everybody know.
Hmm.
Been in discussions with Evan Nappen about this, and frankly, if someone's seeking, you know, a lot of people are understandably overwhelmed by the prospect of trying to get a permit to carry in New Jersey because it's something that nobody ever anticipated they'd be able to do in our lifetime, really. It was just something that was completely off limits for the common peasants like you and I
Right.
for this long. So it's not something that really crossed their minds, and it's a daunting task because you know that the government's going to do anything they possibly can to reject you. And
Mhm.
so if somebody is looking for somebody to hold their hand and get legal advice throughout the entire thing to make sure you're dotting all the I's, crossing the T's so you don't get your application kicked back, obviously would recommend contacting Evan Nappen's law firm because they are the guys when it comes to
Mhm.
New Jersey. Okay, let's see. ANJRPC, and of course, if you believe in the right to bear arms in New Jersey, you need to be a member of ANJRPC. They've done tremendous things for gun rights.
Cool.
It says concealed carry. At the current time, we do not have the exact information about what the requirements for concealed carry permits in New Jersey will be. While the qualification process is being finalized, a good first step for firearm owners is the NRA Basic Pistol class. NRA Basic Pistol is the foundation class for all advanced firearm training. After successful completion of this class, you'll receive a certificate which will verify your ability to safely handle a firearm. We have added additional basic pistol classes to meet the demand for training. Please click here to reserve your spot. NJ drops justifiable need. New Jersey Attorney General issues directive requiring carry permit applications to be processed without justifiable need. So, Nappen's Guide to Obtaining a New Jersey Carry Permit. He's got a specific page. No longer Mission Impossible. You can check that out.
That's good.
You can check that out. But of course,
How is he doing?
Evan,
Yeah.
he's busy.
I was going to say, yeah. I know how busy you are, so I'd imagine he's got to be crazy busy too in Jersey. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Through the roof.
Uh-huh.
They're claiming that there's hundreds of thousands of people applying for a permit to carry right now.
Yeah, it must be crazy over there. Yeah.
Imagine that.
I'll have to hire some people, I guess.
So, yeah, Evan's certainly busy with all that stuff. But if you need guidance on that, he's certainly the place to go.
Mhm.
I know that ANJ or RBC is saying that Basic Pistol is going to do the trick. I believe that the course being offered by Elite Tactical Armory is even more advanced than Basic
Okay.
Pistol.
Well, that's good.
So
Well,
if Basic Pistol is going to do it, then this one would really do
really
it.
good. Yeah. Well, there's definitely nothing wrong with training, as we know. Yeah.
It'd be beneficial to have more training.
Always a good thing. Always
Yeah.
a good thing.
If Basic Pistol is going to do it, then Elite Tactical Armory's course is going to be like shooting an anthill with a grenade or something. We were making a joke about that at Shooting Doors King of Prussia. I forget how it came up because they're talking about the rentals that they have, and they're saying sometimes people ask for some pretty ridiculous things, and they require you to show proficiency and be all, I don't want to say qualified, but they've got a process before you can go out on the range, and then they got a separate process if you want to be able to draw from the range, which is great. You don't want anybody to get hurt or killed.
Sure.
And then they were talking about some of the ridiculous things people request as far as the rentals go. And they've got some pretty cool stuff. They've got a Gatling over there.
Oh, do they? Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. And somebody suggested that they get a grenade launcher. And, well,
I was just going to
If
ask
you're
if
gonna-
they had one of those.
is that if you're going to do that, then you got to make sure that the people who are allowed to rent it have already taken basic grenade, right?
Nothing like the basic grenade course. Yeah.
The basic grenade course.
Might even want to take advanced grenade on that one.
Is there range qualification part of that? You
Yeah,
hit a
right.
target and you throw the grenade.
Can you use that in an indoor range? I thought the guy down the couple things down shooting the Desert Eagle was bad. You know? Guy's got a grenade launcher.
Basic grenade.
Mm.
Would you sign up? We should put that in the poll, right? Would you sign up for basic grenade?
I would.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
If you'd sign up for basic grenade, give me a hey now.
Right. Hey now, basic grenade. That'd be fun.
I'll put that out there.
Mm. Yeah, Denise Gallagher makes a good point. She's like, "What? Mike G doesn't know a movie?"
Freddy versus Jason, not my thing. I've not seen it.
Yep. You are good with the movies, though.
Would you sign up for basic grenade? We got a poll out there.
Do a poll, please. There we go.
For it in case anybody ever brought a grenade and you know how to disassemble it.
Mm.
That's easy. Just pull the pin. It disassembles itself.
I was watching some guys scuba diving in like some rivers recently, and they go just looking around for things that have been thrown off bridges and stuff, and they find guns pretty regularly, but they actually found a grenade, and it looked like a real one because it didn't have the bottom hollowed out. So I don't know where people get grenades on real ones. You can't get those, right?
So
Do people have those?
What, grenades?
Yeah, you can't have grenades, right?
It's funny you say that. Believe it or not, grenade law is not something that I'm extremely well versed in. I did this seminar when I was, a year into practice at a place over in Gettysburg where they train bomb squads, police departments, military agencies, military personnel on explosives.
Yeah.
Really to be able to protect themselves and everything like that. It's called Tripwire Operations. Great group of guys over there.
Sounds pretty exciting.
And it is really exciting.
Yeah.
When you go there, they show you diagrams and models of different bombs that have been used not only, throughout wars, but where you have civilian attacks on the public and stuff like that. They show exactly how this stuff gets made, exactly how these people are doing this stuff. And how to be able to recognize that for these bomb squads and everything and what they could do to fix it.
Right.
So when I was getting ready to do the seminar there, I thought a bunch of bomb fanatics were going to show up to the event. It was like, I'm on a seminar.
You're right.
I'm like, man, I'm going to have these people asking me all kinds of obscure bomb law questions and everything.
Excuse me, Mike. Do you cut the red wire or the yellow?
Neither. You cut the green one.
Seminar.com.
Right.
But I thought there were certainly going to be people asking me, how can I legally own a bomb? What do you mean I can't legally own a bomb?
Can
The
I sign up
government
for?
can't make me not be able to own a bomb.
You have to be a member of U.S. Bomb Shield.
US bomb.
That was a good one.
And thankfully, nobody showed up having any
Right.
bomb questions whatsoever. It was just regular
goodness.
guns. Just happened to be
Oh my
at that
God.
facility. Stax is listening while patrolling the property, looking for predators.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, hopefully.
That might be one of the best. That might be one of the best comments tonight. Yeah.
Billy, Chris, and I both used to work for U.S. Law Shield. Just me, I was more here and there, but I actually went to Tripwire, and they actually trained military dogs there. I thought that was the coolest thing about it, and we got a shipment in from Afghanistan while we were doing a seminar there, and they were in this room, and it was like a no-go zone because these dogs had just come from war. They were not even debriefed or just like you could not go unless you were one of them who's highly trained. You could not go near the dogs. But I just found it fascinating. Yeah.
The results are in. I have to tell Dave over at Elite Tactical Armory about this because it is 100%. Would you sign up for
Ladies
Basic
and gentlemen.
Grenade? Yes, 100% yes.
Oh man.
He should
every single respondent would sign up for Basic Grenade. I say that shows that there's demand for this.
there's demand for
You
it.
got to give the people what
Yeah.
they want.
Right. Exactly.
People are interested.
I'm interested.
They want nothing more than the option to protect themselves and their loved ones using grenades. That's all.
Step 1, hold the lever. Step 2, pull the pin.
And the left's going to be like, we don't want to take all your grenades, just just some of your grenades.
Just the
Right,
ones
We
that
just
blow
think there should
up.
be reasonable grenade laws. That's
Yeah.
all.
Common sense grenade law.
Common sense grenade
Oh,
law.
man.
That's where we're at. Welcome to 2022.
Poor Jersey
Okay.
people are just ready to have like their actual gun
Listen,
right back.
We
and
got
now-
to be ahead of the curve here, Chris. I say we start the NGA,
Right.
the National Grenade Association, and then we're gonna double up and branch off as the cousin of GOA. As,
Right.
we're gonna be grenade owners of America.
Yeah.
We got to talk to Dr. Val about that.
Yeah, let's definitely bring him into it.
Wait, what about M80s? Because my dad used to put them off on 4th of July.
Yeah, they're fun. I remember those. You used to
Did
be able to
you
get
do
them. They
those?
were, yeah.
Did you
Why
do
don't you
those
tell
till-
us a little bit? Don't you work fireworks shows? Didn't you work fireworks shows over the weekend?
I did actually. A buddy of mine works for a pretty large fireworks company, local company on the side, and yeah, we were up in Pittsburgh setting up a really large show up there, and then we did the Norristown one. Yeah, but you know, you need the ATF license and all that. He's got his commercial driver's license to drive the stuff around because you have to follow certain guidelines. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Some of those things are huge. Some of the shells are like 6 inches. I mean, they're the size of like a basketball almost.
Would
know?
you say it's comparable to launching a grenade in the air?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
especially the report ones that go up and just
You
blow
you
up. Yeah,
take
they're
my
cool.
grenades from my cold dead fingers.
Right, yes,
I'll be sure to hold
Exactly.
the pin.
Yeah, it was exciting though. Yeah, I love the 4th of July. And how about Liberty having her birthday on the 4th of July? That's pretty awesome.
And fireworks were most certainly for
Wait,
Liberty.
Billy Chris,
Yeah.
that was like the least detailed information ever. Like we need more
Was it?
detail.
Okay. What
We
else
need,
can I
like,
tell you?
What did you set off? Like what?
Yeah,
did you
how
set up
how
to
big was the
avoid-
show?
Wait,
Well,
to avoid getting hurt, because I did see somebody blew off their hand every 4th of July. You hear that
Oh,
story?
man.
So
yeah,
what's
you
this-
hear some horror stories. Yeah.
let's
Is that
hear
you, Philly Chris?
I only see one
I'm okay
hand.
Yeah.
That's
It
why
was
he's got a mustache. It blew off all the rest of his hair. from
That's
his
right,
face, and
that's
just left
right.
the mustache.
Took my beard off, but my mustache is still intact.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So what was your role? Let's start there. What was your role in this fire?
I'm
work?
just basically helping out. So we go up, like we drove up to Pittsburgh. We unloaded the truck the day before the actual display was going off. So we were up there on, I guess it was Thursday. And then, but we unload the racks. There's racks which have the tubes that you put the shells in. You have to build them with wood and nail them all together. And I think there was a couple thousand shells for that show. So it was a huge show.
Wow.
And like hundreds of racks. You build them. Then you have to put the shells in. Some of them are real large, you know, anywhere from like 3-inch up to 6-inch shells. Put them in there, and they're wired. They're different than like the regular fuse on the non-commercial fireworks. So it's actually an electronic match in there, and you wire them in. Each shell goes into a board, and then a receiver, and then there's a transmitter that is programmed to time everything a certain way. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's neat. It's a lot of work though. I'm getting too old for this stuff. I think.
Is there any fireworks
I'm pretty beat
slang
up.
that you
Hold
can
on,
share
hold
with
on.
us?
I
Yeah.
gotta mention one of the comments that was removed over here,
Oh yeah, what happened?
and it was a pretty good one. So
Hmm.
Stack says no high capacity grenade launchers. Some leftists but it's not on the regular chat. It's not
Oh
on the
no.
regular chat.
Oh, probably because
Okay,
it's at high capacity.
Oh,
Another good
man.
one is Scott Frey said, "Will we need a grenade carry permit?"
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And it's going to be a license to carry grenades instead of firearms.
Would you appendix carry those, or would you carry those on your
Open carry grenade.
open
Oh,
carry?
oh, no.
Wear it like a necklace, you know. Then people think it's not even real.
Or one
Just
of
think
those
you're like a rapper or something.
one of those
So,
grenade slings that go over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Philly Chris, speaking
Yes.
of grenades, back to Philly Chris's fireworks show.
Hmm.
So how much, like how many fireworks did you guys get, and how many are you guys working with compared to like, you know, a backyard show versus like this? Like what's the different.
That was a pretty big show. That was almost a half an hour long show, and a lot of shells. I think there was a couple thousand shells. So, which is why it takes several days to set it up. Yeah, it was crazy amount of work. Yeah.
How do you make sure that it's safe? Like, I would be so terrified setting off. Like, I would run so far every time.
Yeah, you have to be careful. I mean, the stuff's pretty stable, but you have to be really careful, especially those electronic matches, because they can go off if there's like friction, like if you accidentally were to expose one of the matches and it rubbed against something, sort of like those strike matches. So you have to be careful. And yeah, I mean, you're holding these things, they're like almost the size of your head. So if one of them inadvertently went off, it would blow you in half. I mean, you're done. That's it.
So it's not
over.
just a hand. It's not
No, you would. These things, they're the giant fireworks you see. The commercial.
It'd be like a garbage bag filled with meat got split.
Right.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
You would probably not find me. Yeah.
like a hand grenade
You're
and a
working
barrel of oatmeal
you're
everywhere.
Things that could blow you in half, Chris. Like,
What's that, Liberty?
you're working with these fireworks and having to carry them. Like,
Oh yeah, you're holding them. Every one you have to hand load into a tube, and then wire it, tie off the wire a certain way, and then run it down to the circuit board that gets plugged into the receiver. So yeah, your hand. It's all by hand. Yeah.
Really,
I got
Chris,
some
like,
pictures I could show.
you like that danger zone, huh?
Something to it, I guess.
So at that point, if you mess up, then you could be blown into a bazillion pieces.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you'd be done. Yeah, you can't be near those things. Yeah.
Does your electrical?
How much are they paying you for this?
Not enough. Probably.
Chris,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, right.
were you handpicked for this because like your electrical background? Is that why your friend asked you to help?
A little bit, I guess. Yeah, he reached out to me and trained me on how to do it. And he's got his license and all that through the ATF, so it's highly regulated, just like firearm stuff. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it's all the commercial stuff. This isn't like the stuff you go buy at the store.
They can't find out that you were anywhere near there, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. That's right. Yeah. I use an alias. Yeah. I go by Russ the producer.
Russ the producer.
Oh, jeez.
I could probably airdrop some. I have one of the tubes blew up. Sometimes the shells will detonate in the tube. You'll have a malfunction and it blew one of the tubes up, so you can see the damage. Let me see if I can airdrop it to my computer, and then I could probably bring it up on the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
Silly Chris, aka Fireworks Chris, says
Right,
Scott.
right. That's right. Well, you can see some of the racks here and everything. Yeah.
Silly Chris.
Some of this stuff.
Oh, my glasses.
Yeah, let me move my glasses so I can see.
We are glad you got back safe, Silly
Are
Chris,
your
because that
glasses
sounds
supposed
highly.
to help you see?
I think we
Yeah.
should have a contest, and we should end up bringing around 10 people on a boat tour. What do you think? I think that would be fun before the summer's over.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have to do that.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
A boat?
Who votes yay?
Yay.
Votes yay. Get the boat tour. We'll do like a contest. We should make
Okay.
them earn it though, right?
Oh, totally.
Contest for what?
Make them. They
Some kind
earned
of-
it by being.
Some kind of submission.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that'll make it fun, but I feel like they've earned it anyway, just being loyal listeners.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sure, but we can't take 100,000 people on a boat, so we're gonna have to narrow it down to.
We'll just get a cruise ship.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
tough
We're
people.
doing good deals on the cruise ships
Yeah,
right now.
Mike, why don't we just take one of your yachts?
I'm sorry, my yacht's in the shop, guys. Maybe some other time.
The Mikey in the morning yacht. Don't they have to take a bridge down to get that out of the place they're
Yeah,
building it for
needs,
you?
it needs new tires. Being there, they're taking care of it.
Why to have a boat? Like, I was always curious. People are always just like, boats are just like a money pit.
I'm on
What's
a
the-
boat.
What's the worst part of boats? Not that anybody's interested in this. I'm just curious. If
You know,
Owning
I
one.
guarantee you, Chris knows the answer to that.
I feel Chris knows. That's what I was thinking.
I guarantee
owns
you,
like
Chris
8
knows the answer
boats.
to that.
Chris,
What was the question?
Because she was saying how boats are huge money pits, and people always talk about they're always falling apart and
Oh, yeah.
everything. I mean,
Yeah.
so we bust out another 1,000 as the joke.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So what is
Break
the
out another
worst
1,000.
part
Wait.
about? She wants to
Mike,
know what is the worst part about having a boat? Why? What is always falling apart on them?
Yeah, but I wanted to take a quick guess. Is it because like it would be like if it constantly rained on your car on one half, like in the water?
The two best parts of owning a boat, having had a boat, was the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
Yeah.
There you
But yeah,
go.
it's never-ending expenses.
Why
I
is
used to
that?
keep it a
Why?
marina down in New Jersey, and it's like never ending. Yeah, you gotta pay to have it in a slip if you want to do that, and then in the winter you have to wrap it and fog up the engine. Pay unless you do that stuff yourself, but it's kind of hard to do the shrink wrap. So yeah, it's just like never ending, and painting it every year, the bottom of it, so it gets protected from the salt water. So yeah, it's a big expense. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there
It's
anything
fun.
else
I mean,
that
it's enjoyable,
routinely
but-
breaks on them? Like, what about the bilge pump?
Yeah, exactly. That actually happened to mine. It nearly sank because it did. The float for the bilge pump stopped working for some reason, and it came up like halfway up the engine. Luckily, the guy at the marina noticed it and went down and took care of it. But had I not been there, and I wasn't, it would have sank. So yeah.
Len Larson has a comment on that. You see?
Oh, let's see. That works, Chris. Yeah, bust out another 1,000.
No, that's Scott.
Oh, buoyant.
Props.
Ooh.
And
Which one?
you
Was
don't see it? We get rid of it?
Who was it?
Wow. So
I don't see it.
Lens is not on one of them.
Oh yeah. What
Huh.
is going on with the comments? It's very annoying. Very
Let's see if I
frustrating.
can- Let's see if I can paste it so it comes back on.
Len Larson, it says props and transom.
Oh yeah, I did ding my prop one time too. Yeah,
Mm.
Plus the gas. I can imagine, is boat gas like ridiculous right now?
it's a little more too because you have to get it on the water, so there's certain environmental things. Yeah,
Wait, there's
Yeah.
special boat gas?
I mean it's regular. It depends on the boat you have, but I used to run the high test, like 93 octane, and there's like
Oh.
marinas you can go to, but they charge more because it's on the water, so there's
Mm.
environmental concerns and all that. So yeah, nothing is cheap about it. I mean it's fun. I'm glad I had it for a while, but it was time to go at the end.
Would you
Time
buy
to go.
Would
yeah.
you buy
We'll have
an
to get a Mike G in the
electric-powered
morning
boat?
cruiser or something.
Would you buy an electric powered boat?
I don't know. They're kind of cool now. You never know.
Oh, wow.
They are. They are, because certain lakes you can only drive electric
Hmm.
boats,
Right. Yeah, they're much quieter. That's for
and
sure.
so I've decided that I'm going to beat the system by getting the equivalent of what a Tesla is on the road
Right.
as my boat. I believe General Motors is making them now.
Are they?
From
Ooh, GMC?
making some very serious electric boats.
Hmm.
Rita had one, and Len's got a boat.
On a boat.
Scott is selling his boat.
I had one growing up. My dad did. I liked it.
I have some of the fireworks pictures. I don't know if you want to see them or not. I'm gonna
Yay!
put them up. Okay.
Uh,
I'll share my screen.
okay.
Oh, you
Tell
can
me.
do
Tell
that.
me if you can see it.
Let's see.
Let's see. Desktop. Choose screen to share.
Try not
Make
to
sure-
dox yourself, Chris.
Make sure
I
you
know,
clear
right?
first. Chris, make sure there's nothing crazy on there. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I think it's this window. Start sharing.
Chris
Can you
is
see
sharing.
anything?
Oh, how
Yeah.
cute!
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Chris looks like a psycho.
Have
If
you
you
seen
see
this
me
man?
running, try
What's
to
new
keep
there?
up.
He looks
Yeah.
like absolutely.
He's about to blow everything up.
No, it's fun. Oh wow.
So that's one of the
Oh,
tubes. That's one of
my.
the smaller ones too, but you can see the bulge in the bottom there, and it just blew the whole tube up because it didn't get out of the tube in time. But you can see the racks in the background there. That's the finale racks.
Wow.
Oh,
there's-
so when you see,
Oh.
Yeah, you can see the wires coming out over to the receivers. But you put all these racks together. You have to pin them with these
Huh.
metal racks, and some of them you build with wood.
how long does that take to set up?
A whole day.
So that right there.
Yeah, that's just part of it. That's like 1/10 of the number of racks there. That's just the finale racks. Yeah.
So every
can see-
time you watch a fireworks show, it took the entire day to set it up.
Generally, yeah, it depends on the
Wow.
size of the show,
Oh,
but
it
this
takes
was
a
a pretty
couple
big
days.
show. That's
So
probably a quarter
cool.
of the racks.
How
This
long
is-
did the show last?
About half an hour.
Whoa. Look at
What
that.
is
What is
that?
that?
It's one of the
Chris?
fireballs. It's a gas bomb.
Oh.
Yeah,
Whoa.
they're pretty cool. See that,
You-
that black tube there? You fill it with water and 5 gallons of gas, and then there's a charge in the bottom. So when you see those fireballs, yeah, we did 9.
Oh, I've never
That's
seen
on purpose.
Yeah, that's on purpose. Yeah.
that's
Oh.
on purpose.
Yeah.
Thank you for
on
qualifying
purpose,
that that's
yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah, that's on purpose. Yep. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, wow.
It kind of looks like a face.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
there's a video here. I don't know.
Chris, that's wild. I've never seen the firebomb.
That's a 6-inch shell there. See my hand? You can see the size of it. Yeah. So anyway.
That's what Chris is doing over the weekend. What about you?
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Some fireworks stuff.
That's cool, Chris. We
So
gotta
you can see here them going off from the actual racks.
Wait, I can't see. Wow.
So, you know.
Mike, what do you think of that?
Awesome.
Yeah. It's fun
Really
stuff.
catch the show.
Yeah. We'll have to
DG
do a
says,
Mike
if
G
you
in the
want to
morning
experience
fireworks show.
history, I highly recommend you go to Gettysburg and pay the extra fee for the guided tour if they still do it, firearm history and more.
Mm.
That would be a good field
Ooh.
trip for the show.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
We could take our boat there.
You want a boat?
Glenn said, Chris said bulge, and I could hear Russ snickering.
Well, it did kind of look like Elon's rocket.
The bulge pump.
Oh yeah, the bilge pump, yeah. The bulge pump.
Oh, Lord. Lord help us.
Yeah. It is
Isn't there-
a bilge pump.
And the bilge pump.
The bilge
Russ,
pump, yeah.
can you, and sorry, just a side note real quick, Russ, can you just explain a little bit, not that you want to, but like about this Sims thing? I find it the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah,
my
you were talking about
goodness.
that.
He sent us this big long message about his Sims life. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Mm.
I mean, real life is enough. Like now you have this virtual life. Like, what
Oh
is
my
this,
goodness.
Russ?
Right.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to bring up that message because I don't even know all the things that I said. Okay, so I sent 2 screenshots. I'm not bringing them up because they're on my phone, not on my computer, and I can't boot the game up and do the stream at the same time. It's just my computer's not good for that.
Hmm.
But there's this game called The Sims. It's a simulation of people. There's different editions of it, and basically you essentially, in a way, play God. You can give people, all the free will, or you can micromanage their life and tell one guy to paint and the other one to take a shower and another one to, go to work. And so I was playing this game called Sims 3, and there's a few mods you can get for it. One of them lets you have more than, I forget what the default amount of characters is that you have, but I had 45 of them in one household. And among this household had different rooms. It was 2 Sims to a room, and every room had a bathroom and a refrigerator. And yet somehow these idiot simulation people somehow starved to death, even though they each have their own fridge and they each have their own bathroom, and they peed all over the floor. And whenever one of them dies, they all gather around and start mourning the loss, which I guess is understandable. If it's a simulation of people, you mourn the loss of, but that causes more of them to starve to death because they're too busy mourning. And some of them pass out from lack of sleep because they're mourning so much, and then more of them die, and that causes, and it just, I lost 25 Sims.
Oh, the horror.
But Russ, hold on.
And they're
You know
all
where we're going
depressed for 2 days because what?
Russ, similar
What?
to the 2.5 feet of cheese situation. Why are you playing this game? What's the gratification?
Yeah, what's going on?
What is this? Russ?
Because it's fun.
Is it kind of like having a Tamagotchi? You remember those things?
I never had one,
Sounds
so I
frustrating.
don't know.
Do you remember the Tamagotchis?
I remember them, but I never had one. I thought it was
Chris, do you-
stupid.
Chris,
How
do you
much can
remember
you
the
do with 3
Tamagotchis?
buttons?
I don't know if I remember. What
You
is
were
that?
probably a little older. I think.
It was
Yeah.
marketed as a girl's toy. They were all pink and blue, like a light powdery blue, not like a
No,
navy
I
blue.
love them. You had to take care of them and feed them and water them, but it was like a single little. It was like almost like a pet. Like this took.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
that
a
sounded
little
annoying to
tiny
me.
Electronic device,
Yeah.
and
It gave you responsibility, but my question is
you had
Russ,
to feed the pet, and you had to take it out for walks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
by
the best
pressing a
part
few
about
buttons.
the best part about this game is I can walk away from it and it doesn't nag me to take care of it.
Russ,
I
what
had
is
the I had the bootleg Tamagotchi when I was a kid.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah. It was like the Chinese knockoff of a cat or something.
You got it on the original dark web or something.
Oh, jeez.
it's like a little peek into Russ's life. We just get this random text message, and it's about his people in this world that are dying
Right,
and
right.
using the bathroom on the floor, and they're not eating. I'm like, what is he
Yeah,
talking?
what's going on here?
I don't know. They're supposed to have the most. I have the free will meter set up all the way. So they have all the free will. Their free will is apparently to starve to death and pee on my floor.
It's probably controlling real people somewhere.
No, I hope not.
Is this like
Yeah,
is this
imagine
like
that.
a view into AI? Like when AI comes to life, like they're gonna have like their own life and just like do their thing? Is that
I
Right.
hope not. I mean, you don't have to worry about the AI taking over the world. They're too stupid to feed themselves. No, this would be AI from like 2009 to, I think they probably stopped updating it in like 2013. Like maybe a 4 or 5 year kind of update period before people got bored of the game and moved on to Sims 4 whenever that released. But
well, it's
yeah.
probably not. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I just was curious about that, Russ.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Segue from
I sent a
fireworks to-
shot that, I sent the screenshot of they all have a fridge and I have this entire room full of bathroom stalls and they still managed to do this.
Maybe you need to put them on the intermittent fasting or something. Spending too much time eating.
Maybe I should be glad they're all starving to death. I don't know. Maybe there's a survival of the fittest message in there. If you're too stupid to feed yourself.
Speaking of explosions and stuff, did you guys see that someone blew
What?
up the Georgia Guidestones?
What is that?
Yes, I did hear that from a friend of mine. Tell us about it. This is right up your alley, no?
I've mentioned them on the show before, the Georgia Guidestones. They were built, I think, back in the late 80s or early 90s. And all these different languages appear on the different stones. I think they're 18, 19 feet tall.
Isn't there something
Four
about
of them.
Satanism in them or something?
Some people say it's, part of the Illuminati or the deep state, whatever, because, there's these
Wasn't there expressly Satanist quotes in them?
Kind of seems like it could be.
I've just heard about this recently.
Yeah.
So,
Let me Google real
I
quick
know that
what
sounds
it says
horrible
on the
because you're
stones.
saying you mentioned it on the show before, but I don't recall it.
No, okay.
It sounds horrible.
But it's
Maybe it was
interesting
the day you
because-
filled in and I was gone.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. No, I didn't talk about it real long or anything, but what was it? Yeah, Georgia Guidestone was a granite monument that stood in Elbert County, Georgia, United States, 1980 to 2022, 19 feet 3 inches tall and made from 6 granite slabs weighing a total of 237,746 pounds. The structure was sometimes referred to as American Stonehenge or Georgia's Stonehenge. On the morning of July 6, 2022, the Guidestones were heavily damaged in a bombing. Later that day, officials demolished the remaining parts of the structure for the safety reasons. So,
Bomblawseminar.com.
yeah, right. But there's
Oh,
some pretty
man.
bizarre inscriptions on there. For example, there's 10, rules or guidelines or tenets, whatever you want to call it. The first one says maintain humanity under 500,000 in perpetual balance with
Right.
nature.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so
I
it's
don't
about
know why I thought it was
population.
overtly satanic, but population control.
Yeah. So, some people say it's
How do they propose that you achieve that? Because not even close, right?
The second one is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So some sort of control or, things in place around reproduction. 3, unite humanity with a living new language. So I guess creating like one unified language. Number 4, rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
Wait, what?
Rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Number
One
8,
world government.
yeah, right. So it's kind of in line with that. Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Okay, number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. 10, be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, leave room for
Is that a
nature.
typo? They did a typo
must
on
be a
there. they
Twice,
they
yeah.
forgot they said that already.
Right. So anyway, somebody blew them up. So
Huh.
that was in the news.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did they get there?
They were built. A gentleman went to the area and paid to have them built, but it was done under like it was all anonymous. There was a name, but it doesn't trace back to anybody. So it was all done anonymously. Yeah.
And somebody says here that the guy gave a fake name, and the man reportedly used a pseudonym Robert Christian as a reference to his Christian religion. That don't sound.
No, it doesn't really. Yeah. There's a lot of, who knows? The thing is with this kind of stuff, it's like, nobody really seems to know what they are for. There was some astronomical things built into the stones, like it sort of like some of the ancient temples you see around the world, where there was a hole that pointed at Polaris, the North Star, and certain dimensions and geometry and things of that nature. So sometimes there's meaning hidden within those aspects of the construction. So, but who knows?
Which pillar was blown up? Because I'm looking at a I guess you guys can't.
Yeah, it
see
took out one of the pillars. I don't know if there was any, purposeful. I don't know how much you could control the explosion, but then they bulldozed the whole thing down. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Are we sure it's an explosion? Because I feel like an explosion would look a little bit more exploded than this.
Yeah, they have a surveillance because there's cameras on the thing,
Okay.
but I didn't see like the people who did it or anything. But there's video of the explosion. Maybe there's more detail. I haven't looked into it that much, but
I'm gonna see if I
anyway,
can track
just thought
down
it
a
was
video.
interesting to mention because it was in the news and they're kind of a bizarre thing, and there's so much going on in the world right now. So some people say there's a connection or there's a correlation between what we're experiencing now and what was on those stones and who may be behind them. So, but everybody can make up their own mind on the topic.
All right, Liberty. Do you have anything else you want to bring up before we start winding down?
No, I mean, I guess I didn't know if you were going to talk about the Highland Park shooting in Illinois.
Yeah.
Well, not really the shooting, but I think just the two important aspects that, just like a reminder that, there are, I put the article in the doc, but there are, I mean, there was, I believe there was, there is a red flag law in Illinois also already. And I think what they're saying is if it was properly enforced, this could have been prevented. And number 2, there was multiple incidents, I believe 2 at least, with this shooter who will be unnamed.
Yeah, so you got the criminal laws in place, right?
Yes.
We've obviously got criminal laws. They've got red flag laws. And, of course, their solution is going to be more laws.
But he actually had 2 incidents with the law enforcement where literally he threatened to kill people in his family, I believe. And they had to take knives away. I think they gave him to his father. But it's like, oh, my gosh. I mean, you hear this time and time again. So they go right away, take away AR-15s, take away this. More laws, but
hold on. I don't think Mindy understands how we greet one another on this program. I think she thinks she's being scolded in the comments over here. I said,
Oh, what happened?
I gave Mindy a hey now, and I got a whoops in return.
Oh, really?
Like
Yeah.
she thinks she messed up.
Oh.
Give her a hey now.
Hey now. Welcome to the show, Mindy. Hey now.
Give Mindy a hey now, Russ.
Hey now, Mindy. Hey now.
Hey now.
How about you, Liberty? Give a hey now.
Hey now.
I don't think Liberty's ever given a hey now.
I don't know. Not really.
really know how.
Throw one out there, Liberty. Give it your best shot.
Let's give it a hey now.
Hit me with your best shot.
Don't do that, Chris.
I have no problem making fun of myself.
It's that we're gonna get a strike now.
I know.
That sounds so strikingly similar to the original.
Right. Spot
Okay,
on.
but-
That song is copyrighted. We own the stream now.
If
Buttheads.
we let you do that, you're gonna make so much money off of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Off of that performance.
You'll make millions, and that's not
Yeah.
fair.
Another jam session.
No, seasickness is definitely not just in your head. Trust me. I get so nauseous on rides and stuff.
Hmm.
I'm
And
sorry,
actually, I
what was
went to
that,
the
Filbert?
doctor. Deliberately was thrown off. It was like a couple of weeks after I went on one of those spinny rides, and I had like vertigo. It was horrible.
Vertigo
Anyway,
talk.
right, I just saw that in the comments. But yeah, Mike. So there was 2 instances with the law. So the question is, I mean, how can you put more laws if there's laws there and they don't follow them? But I'll let you speak on that. That's your thing.
No,
guess-
you summed it up. Sometimes these situations don't require a lengthy legal analysis. It seems that a lot of times you have legislators and public officials. Many of them are lawyers who have been to law school, and what they tell you when you enter law school is, we're not going to teach you the law, we're going to teach you to think like a lawyer. Well, sometimes, unfortunately, that makes people bypass common sense and street smarts. We
Mm-hmm.
learned that throughout law school when you hear professors talking about things and they're missing very practical points. You're saying, yes, in a perfect world, if we were in some kind of a bubble and all of the variables were controlled, then perhaps that's the way it would work. But these are the things you're missing because you've removed common sense from the equation. And sometimes it's not more complicated than if you create 1 billion laws
Mm-hmm.
and nobody does their job in terms of law enforcement investigations, things of that nature, then what do you expect to happen? You're going to have people who are law-abiding citizens who follow the laws, right? And they're inconvenienced and their lives are impacted by these restrictions. And then you have others who intend to harm other people. And for multiple reasons, these things continue to take place because they're not impacted by those laws. And you see how something like a red flag law, for example, can be over-inclusive and under-inclusive at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can tell stories about people who have been falsely accused, and the red flag laws have severely damaged their lives, their reputations, their bank accounts. And you got a guy like this where the precious red flag laws didn't stop because people didn't follow through. And ultimately, when you think about a red flag law, is it really the guns that are the problem? Clearly, in this case, the person used a firearm. But do we think that if they were to remove those guns from his home, that would be the end of the story and nothing bad would have happened at all?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we talking about a dangerous individual? Because if it's the individual who's dangerous, then removing the guns is not going to solve the problem. Right?
Right.
And if it's somebody who's engaging in criminal activity, there's a different standard, and with good reason, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, it's really a breakdown in society, in my opinion. It's a mental health thing. I mean, when I was younger, it was common for, especially where I grew up, young folks to have guns in their trucks and cars and at schools, and you didn't hear about these types of activities. So what's different now? It's not the gun laws. There's more gun laws now, right, Mike? They're more restrictive now.
Right. There's never been a point in our country's history where firearms have been less accessible, meaning it's
Right.
more difficult to get a gun.
Yeah.
It's more difficult to get a gun right now than it ever was.
Mm-hmm.
I had a reporter ask me, "What do you mean by that?" I mean exactly what I said.
Yeah, what else does that really mean? Yeah.
I mean exactly what I say. There was never a point in time
Mm-hmm.
where there were fewer. There's never a point in time where there were more legal restrictions and then we cut it back just a little bit to
Yeah,
see how
right.
it worked, and it
Yeah, that
was an
generally-
awful disaster, right?
Generally doesn't happen.
It would be one thing if that were the case, where we had all these laws in the books and it was incredibly restricted, and then we said, you know what, let's change this.
Yeah.
This is too restrictive. Let's go in the opposite direction. They did that and all hell broke loose.
Sure.
No, that's never what's happened. It's always, let's add more laws, and then bad things happen. Oh, so we need to add more laws, and bad things keep happening. So,
Right.
okay, if we just add another few laws, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, of course.
It never goes back in the opposite direction when
Right.
those particular laws don't work. They never reassess and say, and I think that's why so many people are fed up at this point and they're saying, you know what? Sorry, no more. We're not willing to play ball. We're not going to just compromise on the whatever we have left because it's only ever gone in one direction. Imagine you had $100 and I said, just give me a couple of those dollars. And then I came back, 10 minutes later, just give me a couple of those dollars. And then after an hour, I've got 97 of your $100. And I say, why won't you just give me one of those? You're being unreasonable. And you're like, you know what, dude? You never gave me any of the dollars back.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Taking all these dollars, get out of here. Give me a break already.
Have you heard anything, Mike, about the pressure the administration's putting on Winchester with the manufacturing of the 5.56 ammo?
No.
Okay. I heard something about it. I'll have to look into it. Maybe we can talk about it next week. But apparently they have the contract with the military to produce the majority of the ammos, the 5.56 ammo. And I guess the administration is putting pressure on them saying that they can no longer sell it, to individuals to keep that contract. So they're trying to interrupt.
Really?
The ammo might go up.
That would be the most effective way to disarm people. Right?
Exactly.
Give the ammunition.
Right.
Or at least, restrict the ammunition, make it more difficult.
Right.
Just the supply. Because we see how quickly the supply chain and ammunition get thrown out of whack. We saw it in 2012 after Sandy Hook.
Right.
And we saw
and they produce the vast majority of the ammo, is my understanding. And, by limiting it, and their argument too is hey, the only way we can keep our production facility up and running and available to the military in time of war is to have, a normal production facility for the, regular civilians. Because if you don't have, it's not like you can just suddenly get all these people and the machines up and running. So obviously it's
Biden also thinks that 9mm can make an elephant explode or something.
Well, that's true. Yeah. In Biden land, that's what happens.
Well, a 9mm is
guys,
basically a
to
grenade.
interrupt, according to Russ, we have a caller. So I just want
We
to
have a
yeah?
caller. Who do we have?
Oh, okay. Who do we have?
I believe it's Rita.
What's on your mind? Is this Rita?
Hi, how are you?
Rita, thank you for joining us. What's on your mind?
Hear me?
Yeah,
Hey.
We could hear you. Give her a hey now.
Hey now, Rita. Hey now.
Hey, Chris.
How are you?
We understand
I'm
that you
good.
saw the Nature Boy live and in person. That limousine
Yeah, it
riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Hmm.
And I think that Greg Valentine and Randy Savage was there, and Roddy Piper. I think that's how you say it.
That must have
And
been
Mike-
some show. And who else?
It was. It was in Virginia,
That's awesome.
and my father-in-law took us all to a show, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. It was more entertaining watching the crowd than watching the fight.
What? You didn't.
Yeah, it was another world because they're all really into it and huge fans, and they have all these big posters and they're standing up and screaming at the wrestlers and everything. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm in hillbilly land. I need to get out. I'm from Camden. I'm not used to this.
that was very much sounds a lot like when we went to watch the wrestling matches in Oklahoma. Although we're talking about a local promotion, and it sounds like you went to one of the star-studded promotions of all time, because these are names of people who were in the Hall of Fame, and
Oh.
people who grew up in my era and everything like that. They wish they had the opportunity to see those people. So it does sound
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It was. Now that I think about all the people that I've seen there and everything. It was pretty cool, but I had fun just by watching the crowd.
Yeah, the
And we were in the
atmosphere is
fourth
what does
row.
it, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
fourth
and we
row,
were in
you
the
said?
fourth row. Uh huh.
So you could have really
So
just
it
jumped
was
into
pretty
the ring
cool.
and got involved in the action, right?
There we go.
Jump right in there, Rita.
Yeah.
Here comes Rita with a steel chair.
Yeah.
She's taking
you're
out the
funny.
Macho Man.
Yeah.
What would be
his
your
voice
wrestler
was
if you were a
something else.
wrestler, Rita? What would be your name? We got to think of a
Oh,
wrestling name for Rita.
Well, I have a lot of nicknames, so I think Mama Bear. My friend calls me Mama Bear, and I think that's a good one.
That's a good one, Mama Bear. That is a good one. Or you could have accompanied Rowdy Roddy Piper and been Rowdy Rita Piper. Would have been
Yeah.
pumpkin.
Did you
was a long
enjoy
Rita
your
time ago.
Independence Day?
Mama Bear.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you enjoy your Independence Day, Rita?
It was quiet. I didn't do anything. Just hung around the house and just, it was very quiet. How about
When you
you?
say quiet, do you mean you didn't hear any loud fireworks?
Not a whole lot. No,
Hmm.
we live in a development, and so we have some people that shoot them off, till like 1 a.m. But I think it was raining a little bit too, if I'm not mistaken. So we didn't go anywhere or anything. I just looked out the window and saw a couple lights in the sky. Other than that, no.
That's interesting.
People complain where I live. People complain about everything.
Gotcha.
So, and they have a lot of dogs here too.
The
so,
dog, it drives the
Yeah.
dogs nuts. Yeah,
Poor
that's
dogs,
actually
Yeah.
that's actually pretty
Yeah,
serious.
Mhm.
it is. Yeah, my dog panicked one day. Somebody set off, sound like an M80, and I was walking my dog, and she's a pit bull, and she's very strong. And so I used to wrap the leash around my hand and around my wrist so that I had a good hold on her. And someone lit a firework up right when we were in front of their house, and she panicked. And just the fear in her eyes, I'll never forget that. But I'm glad I had a hold of her, because she would have got loose. I never would have gotten her again.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's true. Lots of them end up running away during these situations. Liberty, you can pipe in on this because I know you're the expert on how to protect dogs during fireworks shows and how to not leave them in the car too long and everything like that. You're one of those people, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah, you gotta just be like Rita was doing. You gotta be either really, really strong, because they don't know what's going on. They have no awareness, so they just hear that and they go into like automatic mode, so they just run away
Exactly.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you have
Yeah.
to walk them, obviously you have to walk your dog, so that otherwise you leave them inside with some nice music playing. Like, you got to drown it out, But
That's
so
a good
many
idea.
go lost.
Mhm.
Yeah, so many go
Yeah.
lost 4th of July, and you have to find the owners, and it's sad.
It looks like we're playing
Yeah,
a game
it
in the
is.
comments where
Wrong, that's
people are. Looks like we're playing a game in the comments where people are telling about who's the most interesting person they've ever shaken hands with.
Hmm.
I shook hands with
Len-
Chuck Norris.
What?
I win.
Where
Len
did
says
that come from?
Len says he shook hands because it started with Len said he shook hands with Ric Flair, and he also shook hands with John Wayne on July 7th, 1976, which was a Wednesday at Wanamaker's in Philadelphia. He was 5 years
Oh,
old.
wow.
So
Wow.
that's a very descriptive, I guess, important day.
Mhm.
Oh, so it was today's the anniversary? He says July 7th, 1976. Today's July
Oh,
7th.
that's cool.
Mm.
It's the anniversary of Len Larson shaking John Wayne's hand.
Well, there we
We
go.
need to
There
celebrate
we
that.
go.
I didn't even send you a
Cool.
card,
Yeah.
Len. I'm sorry. I
Celebration
apologize.
time.
I forgot to get him a gift.
Where
Sorry,
are my
dude.
manners? We didn't even sing him a song. So
Wanamakers used to decorate their store at Christmas time, and it was amazing. It was awesome. It reminded me of Macy's in New York. It was
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
and would they have different guests come in for those kinds of things as well? From what you recall, it sounds like it would be.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Who else? DG says she shook hands with Donald J. Trump. That's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. There you
Nice.
go. Cool.
Scott says I shook hands with Mike G. I win.
I'm shaking Russ's hand.
I'm shaking Russ.
Huh.
Shaking Russ's hand. Rita,
Yes.
before we let you go, who's the most interesting person you've shaken hands with?
Oh, let's see.
Putting you on the spot here.
Well, actually, one that pops into my mind is a comedian named Bobby Collins. I saw him, and I saw him with Kevin Hart down in Reading.
Sure.
And it was pretty nice. I met Bobby Collins 3 different times, and once he invited me to have dessert with him, but I turned him down. But
poor guy.
but that was pretty cool.
He was shot down by Rowdy Rita Piper.
Well, my husband was sitting at one of the tables there.
Oh,
okay.
that would have been a bad
Yeah.
look. I gotcha.
Yeah.
You'd like to have dessert with me.
Well,
Well, that's what
really
he said.
really appreciate you taking the time to call in, Rita. We always love having you.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Love you, Rita.
Guys enjoy your day. And
All right.
thank you.
Call
And
in-
it's really nice to hear you guys laughing, and it's a nice show tonight. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah,
So you
Thank
guys
you.
take care.
Thank you.
Bye, Rita. Call in next week too.
We are all having fun.
Rita
this
Rita
evening.
rocks. Rita rocks.
Rita rocks.
So Len says, same. I shook Mike G's hand too. Same hand as I did with Wayne. Mike G shook John Wayne's hand by proxy.
I love it.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
All right. On that note, I think we did have a good time tonight. And
Yes, definitely.
we should end on a high note.
Mhm.
So I appreciate everybody who has joined us. I want to make sure I don't miss anything in the comments here. Ooh, Liberty knocked into Alec Baldwin. She bumped into Alec Baldwin. I do remember that story.
I was stepping up a step, and he was there. I believe it was actually him. Now that I put 2 and 2, I thought maybe I was confusing it with his brother, but I believe it was him. And I stepped up a step, and I didn't get up the step, and I fell backwards right into him. And I didn't even say sorry. I was like, oh, whoops. And now I'm kind of glad. 'cause
I think
normally-
you said that his hair was all messed up and stuff, right?
Yeah. Normally I'm a sorry person. Like I'll always say sorry, but like I just remember I didn't, and now I'm like, oh well, you know what? Whatever.
You deserve a sorry.
Yeah.
What about you, Philly Chris?
What's that?
Any shake hands or bump into stories?
Let's see. I met President Nixon when I was a kid. Shook his hand. When I
Oh
was
wow.
Yeah.
Shook Nixon's hand.
Yeah.
Billy Chris.
What
Wait,
about-
hold on.
Right,
I,
fell
What
all
about
over
Lincoln?
Washington
Did you
side.
shake Lincoln's hand?
I was at the theater that day. Yeah, that's how old I am. Yeah.
and hold on. So by Len's theory, I have shaken Philly Chris's hand, so I've shaken Nixon's hand.
Exactly. Yes,
You've
you have.
shaken
Yes.
Nixon's hand.
And John Wayne's and Russ's.
And John
all that.
Wayne.
Yeah,
Yes.
Are you
Hmm.
John Wayne or am I John Wayne?
yeah. By
Stax
proxy.
Farmstead says, I'll call in next week. We need to set up a special interview with you, Stax. We get
there we
set
go.
up an entire episode where we talk to you for about an hour, particularly with everything that you've gone through with your family, hanging in there and everything. So we definitely need to set that aside. I'll figure out when we're going to get Jeffrey Nothing on the program,
Yes.
and we'll take it from there. If it's going to be next week, then I think we might have a guest producer next week because Russell is off.
Ah.
Yes, I will be away.
So we'll have, well, don't tell people that. It's like rule number 1 of safety, Russ.
That's right.
I'm not the only
I'm
one
not
who
gonna
lives in
be
my
home.
house.
I'll be at the South Pole, not the North
If
Pole.
you want a television,
Don't worry, I'll hire Mike G as a security guard.
There we go.
Nobody knows where he is. He says he's in the North Pole. Like Russ is
Right.
just.
well, that means we can broadcast the program from the North Pole if I'm working security there.
There
Yeah,
we
all
go.
right. Yeah,
How about you,
Mike's
Russ?
gonna be the producer.
Russ, do you have any famous any famous stories?
No, I'm actually incredibly boring.
Never.
No, I sit around and play Sims all day.
He's met somebody in Sim's life.
And I let my Sims pee on the floor and lock themselves in rooms that they can't eat, even though there's
Now,
an
come to
entire
think of it,
refrigerator.
anybody you enjoy in terms of entertainment is either a cartoon or a video game character or a comic book character, right?
Right.
Comic book. When have you
You're
ever
right.
heard me talk
You
about
like-
comic
I
books?
always hear you talking about anime.
That's
Cartoon.
that's not comic books.
Oh, it's cartoon?
Yeah, basically.
I see. I got CB said I'll be your Huckleberry. So if he's okay with people knowing about it, CB, we're working on CB being the substitute producer for next week, which would be a
Hopefully
lot
not
of fun.
permanent.
What's that?
I said hopefully not permanent.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Well, we'll see. We'll find out who he's shaking hands with, and then we'll get back to you.
There we go.
Oh man.
That's all we've got for today. Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Pastor David Whitney, Professor Phil Duffy. I'll be joining as your legal analyst. We miss you, Ellie. Daddy loves you.